What is the sunnah of hairs of head? What's the sunnah of hair? Is the sunnah of hair is that the man should not have a hairstyle that resembles some sinful group, if such a group exists, nor women. And women, it is makruh for her to have a hair that is resembling the hairstyles of men, because in our theology, that's how we choose to identify, is that the Prophet wanted the genders to be distinct, so that there should be hairs. It comes in a culture that a certain way of having your hair is common for women, then a man should not have that hairstyle. If it's the opposite, then a woman should not have that hairstyle. As a matter of encouragement and discouragement, more so than prohibition and obligation. And then it's also that something called qaza, which the Prophet did not like, which is the disjointed hairstyle, where some of it's shaved, basically like you want to go watch I don't want to say it, but the U.S. Olympic soccer team, right? Where half the hair is buzzed and half of it's long, right? So that is called qaza, where it's disjointed and out of whack. Or part of it is completely shaved and part of it's there. So we would put it in the category of discouraged, makruh. And therefore it should be avoided for both men and women to do that. Likewise, the colors that would maybe associate a person with fisq. For example, if there's a certain type of crew in society that they color their hair a certain way, you shouldn't do that. You should basically use the dyes that pious Muslims use. That's your custom. Custom for us is the practicing Muslims. Lastly, a man should not dye his hair black, because it has a different reference. In the old days, people didn't have birthdays. You didn't know how old you were born. There was no year. There was no calendar. You judged a man's age by his look, right? So if the man had black hair, the family may think he's a young man. He's younger than he actually is, and they marry him. Then he dies like 5 years later, right? So he was older than he looked. So it's deception. Likewise, of deception is for a woman before marriage, and for to attach hair and to do things with her hair that is not actually real of her hair, attaching pieces and stuff. That is only allowed for her to do within her husband and her family, but it's not allowed outside that, because it could lead to a deception in the sense that people think something about you that's actually not true. Then they may refer you to marriage, and then a guy gets into that marriage and you get into another marriage and you realize that both of you actually don't look the way you look. Okay? That's one of the reasons that there are these rules on hair and these rules on these things, is to avoid possible potential deceptions like that. Of course, it's not deception like people are trying to deceive each other, but that is the result. And all of this, we'd put it in the category of makruh, and some of it's haram to do. I hope that answers the question on the issues of hair in the Sharia. Can a woman dye her hair? A woman could dye her hair any color that she wants before or after marriage. It doesn't matter.